I tried replacing n8n with Antigravity, and here's essentially what happened. So here's kind of the thing. I've built more than 255 different workflows in n8n, and what I've kind of started to see a lot is that a lot of people are using Cloud Code to create different, what are you going to call it, like projects or automations, essentially to solve business problems, right? And what I've kind of realized when it comes to using anti-gravity or cloud code in this case is that it's very good at writing out the code. It's very good at giving you something that kind of works. I mean, it works. Most of the time it works. It does what it's supposed to do. It's just that what I've started to realize is that how long does it actually work? For how long? And it's just that well, because I'm a heavy user of anti-gravity. I use it all the time to prototype and come up with different solutions. I also use it to like learn different coding languages on top of it. But at the end of the day, if I'm building a massive code base, most of the time I have no clue what is going on here. I have no clue, especially when I just let the agent go wild, because I actually don't have any proper breaks in place. I just let it run, and I don't check that much. I just let it run, and eventually it's just done. And it's like, hey, here's the thing you want, and then I test out the thing, and it works out. You know, and I'm just like, oh, cool. The thing that I wanted is now working. So at this point, it's just about running it, and that's a good thing, right? But however, what I've started to see is that a lot of people are kind of going from what you're gonna call it, from n8n to pretty much going to cloud code. And with that, I think I don't think that these people are kind of thinking about the maintains and the extra work on figuring this out. Not that I really care that much, because it doesn't really matter to me, but it's just something interesting that I'm always thinking about. Because yes, even let's say, even if you build it out in with cloud, you build it. Okay, but what happens once they want to make a change, right? You have to kind of go into the code, because if you keep using cloud code, because what I've kind of seen is that it will kind of create bloated code or spaghetti code after a while. Bloatness or spaghetti code, pretty much. And I mean, this might not really be a huge problem, maybe, but if you're making one change and it's changing your entire code base or changing things that doesn't make sense to change, you're essentially going to end up in a place where, oh, I have to prompt to fix problems, right? And that's kind of annoying in a way, because you don't really know where to fix the things manually. So you have to kind of rely on the prompting every single time, versus, let's say, n8n, if you were to use it, or it just depends. I mean, if you understand it, then you understand. If you don't understand, then it doesn't matter. But in my case, since I understand n8n, if somebody's like, hey, I want to change this, I can jump into n8n and understand that, oh yeah, the change I need to make is in here. And it's quite easy for me to make that change. Or, hey, I want to add something. Okay, cool. This is the code base or the flows. I need to make the change over here and here. That's it, right? But if you're using cloud code to prompt, you might seriously have your cloud code make changes here. And I'm not saying that you are gonna do this, because this is kind of stupid in a way, because you can't tell it where to make the changes. It's just that if you don't know the files and you don't know what's inside the files, maybe you simply just don't know which file to work on. Maybe you will have to ask it like, hey, in what file is this thing in? And then it will point, oh, it's in this file. And then you will go like, okay, cool, make the changes in this file only. But then maybe you forgot, hey, I also made the changes here, but I didn't, because you didn't ask about it, you just didn't mention it or something. And really what I'm trying to say here is that it's really about the control. And I think that even though cloud code is great in terms of speeding things up and creating things and solutions, is that you are gonna be the one managing the solution for the client in the end, and it because you think to yourself that once you've built this solution for the client, you're done. Like the client work is done, he's happy, he got what he wants. But that actually never really what happens. Actually, what happens is that most clients, once they have something, they want to add, they want to do something else. And a lot of people just like, I want to change X here now. I just had one person seriously want to change. Like I have one client right now. I built out an Instagram Reels poster automation to him, and can't spell. And as I completed the work for him, like a few weeks ago, it worked well, and then he came back. Hey, can we make an Instagram trial Reels poster automation instead? I said, yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. And I went ahead and I built out the next solution for them. And as I completed this, he let it run for a month or so. And then he came back, hey man, I'm not really getting a lot of views. Can you please recreate this one again? And I seriously just told him, I can do that, but it's gonna be the same cost. Because the thing is that what I did is that I didn't really duplicate this one. I just upgraded the same one and made the changes to it and turned it into this, right? So it's not like I'm sitting with this one in a in like a history of sort in n8n where you can just take a look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is the Instagram one. That's not really what I did. I just went ahead and molded it to be this Reels poster automation. And so for the client, they're thinking like, oh, but you can just go back in time and it's just gonna be there. And that's not really how I made it, because in my head I was thinking like, okay, they want to change things and they want to go to this model and that's it. But as you can see here, when things happens in life, people want to make changes. Like they want to make changes all the time. Even if you think that, oh, this is done, they will realize 2-3 weeks later that, oh, I want to make this change now. And you will make that change for them. And then they will realize like, oh, I want to change this as well. 3-4 weeks later, new change. And it just keeps going on. And in n8n, I will say like, or in not even n8n, what matters is just like you understanding what you're doing. As long as you understand what you're doing, you're fine. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're essentially moving over from n8n to cloud code right now, and you're going to essentially deal with this over here, that clients are going to want to change things, roll back things. The good thing about code though is that you have GitHub, so you can actually simply just roll back in time with GitHub, since you save everything in memory by doing that. So that's actually a good thing by doing that. But still, I mean, it depends like on the pay, right? So, I mean, you might want to like get paid the same. It doesn't really matter. But in either case, what I'm trying to say is that if a client is want to change a lot of things all the time, and at that point you kind of need to understand what is going on in this black box over here. Because if you don't know what is going on and the client is like, oh, I just want to make a change over here, and you don't know that, and the only way for you to make the changes is to prompt, I mean, it's not really going to be the easiest thing to make changes. Maybe you can make it work, but as far as I can see right now, it sounds like it's going to be an hassle. And I mean, of course, you can use Antigravity in cloud to create things. I don't know. Yeah. So for me, at least, in my position, what I notice is that people will pay for automations like Zapier, GHL, n8n, Make. Like they will actually pay for those automations. I've seen people ask for cloud, but at the end of the day, if they're asking for cloud, they're kind of asking for just cloud. They're just asking for a coder. That's kind of what they're looking for, right? They're not. It's not like they're looking for yeah, sure, they're looking for an automation, but it's just like they're kind of asking for somebody to write code for them at the end of the day. That's kind of what you're looking for. And you can get paid, but at that point, you might as well be a coder. I mean, yeah. That's not kind of the angle that I'm seeing on YouTube. It seems to me that a lot of people are kind of throwing in cloud code versus n8n in a way, when it's really not the same thing. If I'm gonna be real, what I feel like is kind of happening on YouTube with cloud code versus n8n is that a lot of people are kind of hyping up the next tool without actually getting paid for none of the tools really. And that's kind of what I'm saying, because yeah, I mean, I saw the same thing with the Clawbot or whatever it's Claude called, and it's kind of similar. It's just like, oh, another tool you're going to learn. And for me, at least, my goal is kind of to make money with these things, and I'm getting paid to essentially build out things with n8n. I'm finding clients with n8n, and I keep asking myself, well, if I learn Cloud Code, am I gonna get paid? Am I gonna get paid for it? And then it's just like, yeah, and a lot of business owners, they're like using different tools. So they might be using Notion, Airtable, and Google Sheet all at the same time for different tasks. And they kind of just want to connect these together pretty much. That's kind of it. And if you can like connect that with n8n or Make or Zapier or whatever, I don't really think they care that much. It's just like, in some with some business owners, they will drop tools to me like, yeah, we use Make, and I will just simply ask them, is there any special reason for why you want to use it? And a lot of them will just say, no, I was just reading about it and it seems like a good tool to use. And I'll be like, okay, cool, do we have to use it? And they'll say no. And I'll just be like, okay, cool, we end it then, pretty good, we'll solve the problem. And they will be like, yeah, okay, cool, we can use that. Like they don't really care that much about the tool stack. Like a lot of people that I've talked with, I've just turn them from Make or whatever into n8n, and I've had no issues doing that, you know. And that's kind of like where I'm leaning into, where it's just like, okay, a lot of people have heard about n8n, they feel like there's a lot of information about it, and it's quite popular, it works, and it's simple, and they kind of understand it because it's quite similar to Zapier where they understand it. If you're gonna sit there and explain Cloud Code or Clawbot, it's just like, okay, why do I need Clawbot? It's just like, I don't know, like, yeah, or why do I need Cloud Code? I mean, if we just want to like we just want to solve the problem. Like I just, I used to create a solution for one business where I connected their lead form from WordPress to their CRM and to Slack, and is and doing that, I just use n8n to do all of that. That's really it. And they don't even know that I'm using n8n. Probably they're just happy that it works at this point, and they're just like, yeah, it saves us a lot of time. We don't have to think about it, and we have an automation in place. Cool. So it's just like, it's kind of different to watch YouTube and just being in it, because when you're in it, like creating, you kind of realize like, oh yeah, this is not really it. It's cool that you can do this. But as mentioned, I love prototyping with Cloud Code and Antigravity. I love doing that. Like you can test out a lot of things, because oftentimes I sometimes will run into people that kind of don't know exactly what they want or how it should look. At that, when I'm in that phase, I usually don't really build in n8n, because it's just gonna be a lot of rebuilding. So the way I go about it is just using Antigravity to build out a prototype for me. And then I go over to the business owner over here, and I ask him like, hey man, is this, or girl, is this essentially what you want? And the business owner will be like, yeah, this is pretty much what I want. And then I will go to n8n and actually build out the solution. So that's pretty much it. That's how I go about it really. But yeah, hopefully this kind of makes sense. I know my paintings are really bad and I can't spell, but yeah, hopefully you like this video. And if you want to see more of this, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.